Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have another pen and actually an accessory review, and this is from a company called Venvstas. Now let me just show you a little bit about Venvstas. So Venvstas is based out of Parma in Italy, and it's made by a company called Silbica by the founder, Professor Architect Lucio Rossi, and CEO Filippo Carmignani Torelli, and have won a number of awards for their design aesthetics. The Venvstas philosophy has always been centered around the Vitruvian triad, which can apply to anything that's designed or built and not only architecture. So Venvstas, a building has to be strong. Vitalitas, a building has to serve to a purpose. Venvstas, a building has to have the qualities of Venus. It has to be beautiful. So Venvstas have set their minds and souls into creating unique objects that will not only carry the quality of Venus, but will honour all three Vitruvian principles. Striving for the harmony of nature, Venvstas pieces are crafted by hand with care and precision, designed and built to last. Something that is rare as to find good, beautifully designed objects in a complex, beautiful world. So here I have an accessory. So let me move the accessory out of the way and we'll look at the pen first. So the pen is the Venvstas and this is the Magna. And you can see there, Venvstas Magna, it's a broad nib, and this is a titanium nib. So if I remove the sleeve, you will see here Venvstas Italy. And if I remove the lid, you will see that we get write your history, design your future. And then you get a little bit about the Venvstas Magna there and how to fill the pen. And I also have a writing sample here as well that was provided to me from Derek at Stonecrop Fine Writing Supplies. So this pen is on loan from Derek at Stonecrop Fine Writing Supplies. So I'd like to thank Derek for the loan of this pen for review. So this is, if I move this out of the way, the Venvstas Magna. And this is quite an interesting pen. So immediately you would not quite know how to remove the cap. It's a capless or clipless pen. Now the finials here do show the V for Venvstas, and then you have this here, and you do, if you notice here, have a slight gap here, although when you rotate it round it fits very flush, and likewise a similar gap there. So this is actually made out of carbon fibre, and it's a hand sanded linear carbon fibre. And what you do, you can either pull or twist, and this then shows you the nib. So this is the titanium nib, and this is a broad nib, and it's got the Venvstas V logo on there. And this is sort of a shroud that covers the nib up, so you don't actually put your fingers there, and you can see the ABS plastic feed there, and then you'll see this is the section, and if I twist and pull this off, this reveals the filling mechanism. So this is a plunger pen, and you just push it down and then you put the pen in the ink bottle and then pull it out to suction the ink up into what is a 2 milliliter capacity barrel. Now it's actually quite interesting that they designed it this way. It really does seem quite sort of different to a lot of pens. I do kind of sort of initially think that these, if I put this back on again, I'll show you here, because it's quite tight. that these do line up really nicely. So it's very difficult to actually see that break there. But you then do see this little bit of peeking out here, and that's just to show you where the break is, because it can be very difficult when it's down on the desk like this to actually see which part is which. So what I tend to do is just twist it there, and that allows you to then see where it breaks. So there is that slight break there. You do also get these like rivet screws that actually put the carbon fibre onto what essentially is a steel body. But this is quite an interesting pen. You do actually see the piston knob here through the end of the pen, and you can actually push that down a little bit if you were to touch it. Now, I haven't done that so far, so if you pushed it down a little bit, it would burp out a little bit of ink, but for me, I've not managed to actually do that when I have been writing with it. Now, the next thing I want to show you is this, and this is the VCarrier case. The pen itself comes in at around about £229 at Stonecrop Fine Writing Supplies, but then you get this, which is a pen case. And this is a further £79. But let me show you this. When you take the top off, you get this lovely logo, holographic logo there. And then you also get what looks to be another pen, but it's not. So the idea is, again, you twist this out, and then you put your pen in here. So then the pen is very secure inside this, again, another carbon fibre linear contraption or pen case here. So again, you have the V for Venvstas on that end, and you have nothing on this end. So that is quite an interesting case. It will roll around though, so you do have to be careful. The pen, because it's clipless, and also the case, because there's no, it's complete cylindrical, that it is going to roll around. And of course I put it on the desk and it's not now rolling, but if I just touch it a little bit there, then it will roll. So you do have to bear that in mind. But I like this case. This case is really, really sturdy, and it's carbon fibre, and I kind of feel that you might be able to like snap it in half, but not actually snap it in half because it's so strong, or maybe even run over it with a car, because carbon fibre is pretty tough. But I like the idea of this case, and I think if I were to buy the pen, then I would probably buy this case for it as well. So you can see Venvstas made in Italy there, and it is literally just a cylindrical barrel there, and carbon fibre there on the cap. So the case comes in at around about £79, and then the pen we're looking at around £229. But it is carbon fibre, and carbon fibre is not cheap. Now, in terms of the size in my hand, I do find that this is quite good. Now, one thing you can do to stop that piston protruding is you can also post the cap, and that will make the pen even longer still, but it will stop you pressing that piston in. And I kind of like that idea, although I do find that this is a little bit on the long side to write with. Now, some people may not like this because the pen itself doesn't necessarily have a section, so you are holding just a cylinder, effectively, the pen. And you can, if you find that you are somebody that find that your fingers do drop down closer to the nib, this can be a little on the sharp side. You do feel this here. So normally, if you're not a high writer and you're a low writer, you're going to be gripping right around this area because of the number 6 size nib there. But other than that, for me, I find it's actually quite a comfortable pen to write with. no matter which grip that you have here, if you have a tripod grip, if you put your finger underneath, or even if you put your finger over the top, it's actually quite comfortable either way. So I think with that, we'll take the cap off. The only thing that I do find is that when you go to push this in, sometimes you can catch that there, and that does give me a little bit of concern. But I do like the pen, but it is quite tough to put that cap on, so you do have to be a little bit careful when applying the cap. So I think with that, let's do a length check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at about 157 millimeters, 158 millimeters actually. So that's quite long. And then the length of the cap, I'm now trying to find the cap where it stops. So we are looking about 43 millimeters in length for that cap. And then for the length to the tip of the tines, we're looking at 148 millimeters. So this really is a long pen. It's not a short pen. And even without posting the cap, that is a long pen in my hand. I do like long pens though, but then it's even longer if you post that cap. But I do like the way that you can post the cap, and I do like the way that you can block off that piston so that you're not accidentally going to push down there. Now, I haven't pushed down there accidentally, but it is something that I feel that I might do at some point. So, let's do a weight check. The weight of the pen, we are looking at just over 23 grams. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just over 5.5 grams. And then the weight of the pen, we are looking at just over 18.5 grams. So that's not a bad weight pen. So I think with that, let's go and do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Amethyst Fields, an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Black Ice. We have a Delta Federico, a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Positano Blue. We have a Pilot Namiki, and this is the Vanishing Point in the Crimson Sunrise. We have a Venvstas Magna. We have a Retro 51 in the fountain pen. This is the Apollo. We have a TWSBI Diamond 580AL, a TWSBI VAX 700R, and then an Opus 88 Calaro Demonstrator. So let's do a writing sample. So this is the Venvstas. It is a V, not a U. It's a Venvstas. And it's the Magna. Now this is a broad and it's a titanium nib. And the ink in here today is Pilot, Owashizuku, and it's Konpeki. Now, in terms of line variation, this is a broad nib. Now, I am finding that this tends to write a little bit more towards a medium broad than an actual broad. Now, I can lie a little bit more line variation down. Now, this is a titanium nib, so I don't want to push a titanium nib too much because you can easily spring titanium nibs. I haven't sprung a titanium nib yet, and I don't want to either. So you can see here there's no hard starts or skips going on. It's actually a really good writer there. Normally, if a nib had a hard start or skip, you would see breaks in those vertical lines. So in terms of wetness, now I will say that the cross strokes here are very, very dry. Now, in terms of the downstrokes, these are a lot wetter, but it is, I would say, more of a dry writing pen. And you can obviously coax more line variation out of that depending on the amount of pressure that you apply here to your writing. So if you wanted a little bit more wetter nib, you can apply a little bit more pressure. That obviously is going to let a little bit more ink out, but it's also going to make the letters a little bit more broader. So what do I like about the pen and what do I not like about the pen? So I like the pen. I like the design aesthetics of the pen. To me, it feels quite futuristic, but also a little bit more Bauhaus. The carbon fibre reminds me very much of the Lamy 2000, the way you have that brushed effect going on. The pen itself does seem a little bit strange. It's one cylinder, and you do have these little cutouts here for the cap and here for the body, but I think it's an interesting design. It's probably not a design I normally would go for. I think if I were to buy this pen, I would definitely go for this case to put it in, because I think that makes the pen a lot more secure, and then you could easily carry that around in your pocket without any issues whatsoever. So I'd like to thank Dirk from Stonecrop Fine Writing Supplies for the loan of this pen and pen case for review. If you'd like to check out the Venvstas Magna and also the VCarrier case, then please go and check out Stonecrop Fine Writing Supplies website. So again, I'd like to thank Dirk for the loan of this pen for review. This is my review of the Venvstas Magna and also the Venvstas VCarrier case. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.